What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. DeJ Loaf is back with her first mixtape in 2 years titled All Jokes Aside. The mixtape is a return to her rapping side for the most part. As opposed to last year's And See That's the Thing EP, her first retail project, where she kind of had a nice balance of rapping and singing, with me personally feeling the singing side a lot more. I think in the long run, DeJ Loaf is going to see her bread and butter from singing over rapping. I think the next time that she does have another hit single, it won't be like Try Me. It'll be more along the lines of something like Butterflies. And speaking of Butterflies, it was produced by DDS, who is one of DeJ Loaf's strongest connections. Getting into like this actual mixtape, he produced Bitch Please and Who Am I and one other record. And I really feel as though DDS is talented enough to carry DeJ Loaf like alone. Like if those two just locked in and collaborated on their own, they would create magic. I don't think I don't know if she needs any other producers. I know you can make the case for, but how do you expand? How do you grow? I think DDS is someone who is versatile enough to cover both the rapping side and the singing side. Like I said, he produced Try Me and he produced Butterflies, and those two are very different sounding beats. So he's very talented, and I definitely wanted to give him that spotlight. In many ways, I feel like DeJ Loaf is kind of like me, because she comes off as like an introvert in a way. And especially on like Chase Mine. It's a record where she talks about how she started doing her own hooks because she doesn't want to collaborate with rappers, and that's why she started singing. That was the exact line was, I make my own music. That's really why I started singing. And I look at it like I could relate to that. In a sense of nobody wanted to give me this, and I don't trust a lot of people, so I started doing this on my own and this. That's why I shoot and edit and do all these reviews and videos and all this stuff I do, because of that fact. Just not wanting to trust people. And I think DeJ Loaf kind of echoes that sentiment too. And then you have a record like Die For It. Very catchy. That's one of the records that stood out the most because of the melody and the hook. And I think some of the best parts about the mixtape happened with the hooks, simply because they're singing. I think, like I said, I love the singing side of DeJ Loaf the most. But the overall record of Die For It is good because it's about like the grind to reach your passion and not letting anybody take away what you worked hard for. And again, that's a story I could relate to. So I like that record a lot. There's one guest feature on here. Just one. And it's Silkk The Shocker. It's such a random guest feature that it stands out, as opposed to if it was like full of guest features, you're just like, oh, okay, Silkk The Shocker's on here. But he's the sole guest feature, so he stands out. And he doesn't spit a bad verse. It's kind of funny. His verse is more entertaining than dope, I would think. Because he says, some of y'all jokes with your flow, I try not to laugh. And that is hilarious coming from Silkk The Shocker, because his whole career has been kind of focused on his flow being offbeat. And, he's talked about it in interviews and stuff. So I just thought it was a funny line to poke at other rappers' flows. And then he said, flow cold, you would think I was yelling in the fridge. That's a corny line, but it's also funny at the same time. So thank you, Silkk The Shocker, for providing laughs. Going back to a record like Bitch Please, when I talked about that with DDS, I love DeJ Loaf's ad-libs. And they're as strong as anything on the entire mixtape on Bitch Please. She does that whoa ad-lib, and then she just goes kind of over the top. She brings life to the ad-libs. It's not just like a little whoa here. She makes sure that you hear the whoa. She's yelling at the top of her lungs, and I think it stands out to me. But overall, I feel as though the mixtape is good. Like I said, I feel in the long run, DeJ Loaf is going to see more success doing the R&B side, and she kind of held it back here, and I understand. you were doing the R&B stuff last year on the retail project, and now you wanted to satisfy the people that really loved like Cell Soul, her last mixtape. You wanted to satisfy that audience with the rapping. So hopefully, if she chooses to release another project this year, preferably maybe a retail one, hopefully it kind of explores that R&B side a little bit more. And, you know, I think that would be a good balance for her career. Mixtapes focus mostly on the rapping, and then her retail projects could be a mixture of rapping and singing, like that balance that you saw and See That's the Thing. But all jokes aside, is a good mixtape, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.